Okie dokie, part 2 folks. Why is there a part 2? Well, I noticed a moment ago that the two fellows here who accidentally got screamed at, despite their lovely, elegant clothing, were heading into the tunnel. Oh, hey, morning. Along with the trooper. However, more importantly, a bit windy in the tunnel this morning. More importantly, another thing that I noticed is that, or realised, is that we hadn't actually even ID'd yet the other horse. I'm going to stand to one side unless people decide to stop and pose, because I don't like, standing directly in front of any of the troopers just with a camera straight in their face, because I find it to be a little bit discourteous, personally. We didn't even look at or ID the other horse. We got one horse, didn't we? Then obviously I got distracted by the police officers in the road, then I myself got told off, showing how equitable it is here in London. And then finally, in the yard with that Spanish group, is our first lucky child tourist. Got a picture with the guard. Could be the only one, because unless there's decent amount of traffic through the tunnel, people won't even know that the guard is here to take pictures with. There's also no signage here at all that says you can do this or can't do that. Look. That's the first one. But is it the first one of many? That's the question. As I said, people see a guard standing in the tunnel. They're not entirely sure how to respond half the time. See, they're wandering on the left. They're kind of like, hold on a second. Is he going to film me? The tourist, that is. Decide against it. Been a while since we've seen this, guys. First time this year. Let me think, it's got to be a month at least since we had anybody here in the tunnel posing for pictures with the kingsguard. Tourists didn't realise how lucky they got. Anyone in London last month didn't get to see this because it didn't happen. I'm not quite sure why she's got her arms extended somewhat. Very curious. Quite a crowd has formed now, let's see. Oh. Oh, it looks to me like she's touching him, it really does. How quickly it went from relatively empty here to everyone wanting to get a picture. That's a last couple of horse. Most respectful gents. There are far more people here, guys, right now than you would even believe. Look, it suddenly got very chaotic. And like it never happened, the wave almost instantaneously subsides. Uh-oh. It's when the people take the selfies, they lean back, that they often end up touching the guard. Always one. I'll be able to cue folks to move in a second. Wait for the people to move behind me. If there's a bit of space, I'll actually move. You know, the moment that I move will be the moment something goes wrong.
Chyba ręce z kieszeni, nieładnie. Na baczność stań tak jak pan. Dobra. I Piotruś, tak? Piotrek? Na baczność. Baczność. O, super.
Basia, idziesz? No idź teraz.
Recognize the Polish language a mile off. Love that language, one of my favourites.
Chłopaki.
Right. Oh god, there we go again, just when I think it's done. Okay, I'm glad that went well. I was just about to say kurwa. How lucky was she? Look, she just got the last picture of the day, and then the guard is off. Perfect timing, and everyone else missed it. There were so many people waiting, folks. You could see they were all patiently and respectfully waiting to get a picture, but they didn't get the picture. So she was the last lucky one. Okay, back out into the light. Sorry, I got a bit enthusiastic in there because it's been so many weeks since we had a Blues and Royals at his or her post in the tunnel, or, as occasionally happens, here at the front. It's been, in fact, I can't even remember how long it's been since we had one of the Blues standing here at the front. The gatesman occasionally stands at the front, as we've seen before, sometimes for in excess of 10 minutes. It's an extraordinary thing to see. But we haven't had that since, let me think, end of the summer? Yeah, September, I think. perhaps finally we can endeavour to ID the other horse. Now we know we've got Talar at that end, but we still don't know which horse this is, sorry. And interestingly, and interestingly enough, I don't even visually recognise this horse. Oh, what do you mean you don't recognise me? Have we not been through this before? Okay, let me see if I can get close in a minute. Get the hoof number. It's a very unusual looking horse, this one. Okay, I'm gradually getting a little bit closer. Okay, luckily the horse is facing us, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get the number. Wait.
Vale, 1, 2.
Okay. Right, got the number. Let's have a look. Infinity. This horse is called Infinity. Yep, 100% Infinity. Not marked on my list as being a mare, so we'll stick with gelding for the moment. Welcome, Infinity. Wow, we've been super lucky this morning. Just going into the list. It's a little windy now. Let's see what the temperament of this horse is going to be like in the wind. So Talar and Infinity, who replaced Tipper and Yvonne. The two horses that replaced folks, they were only here for about 40 minutes, and they were in part 1. This video is part 2 from today. As I do always pop it in the description, but I know a lot of you miss it because if you're viewing it on the phone, the description field isn't that visible. There's not really anything else I can do. I can't go putting part 1, part 2 in the video titles because eventually YouTube will start pushing them down for spam because they will title match fundamentally if every video is titled part 1, part 2, whatever. So that's why I can't put which part in the title of the video. Plus there's only a certain number of characters. You're limited to 100 characters for a video title on YouTube. Another consideration. Those 100 characters need to be used wisely and ideally not in duplicate. Now, having not seen having not seen this before, a horse before, I've got no clue about this horse's temperament. So I'm blind, folks, as well as you are today. Let's see. This horse, at least at the moment, is more popular than the other one, so there must be a reason for it. I don't know how badly it will affect the audio. Around me because of counting. I don't think actually I've seen as many people filming as there are today for many weeks. There are at least 10 of us here. Some people don't even recognise. Bite or kick, almost. Okay, the Spanish have gone, French have arrived. Somebody just called me mon bébé.
En avance.
Personally, I prefer ma chérie, but there we are. It kind of seems like it's not busy here. There's not too much going on, whatever. If I turn around, this is actually how it is the majority of the time along the front here. Look. In fact, actually too many. Let me try and get through the group. Sorry, excuse me. Thanks. Pushing my way through the group to get to the road. Being very careful this time not to get told off. I've noticed actually why the police were so desperate to get their horses over there quick, because they closed the road. Not a security issue, they're just resurfacing it. Yeah, I hadn't even noticed in fact, and weirdly enough, despite now recognising there's noise over there, I didn't even actually notice that noise was there in the background before. Curious, eh? Okay, back with Salar people. Of that noise behind me is being picked up by the microphone. It's not really a problem for me, but I think it's going to be super loud in the video. Nothing I can do though, guys, to be honest. Look. Probably 80-90% of everyone we've seen here today is a Spanish speaker. Holidays? School holidays in Spain? I have no idea. No, come one after another after another. Next, it's like a roll call at breakfast in jail in the morning. It's a very well-disciplined group, isn't it? Kudos to the teacher for keeping them so disciplined. Look. Just give them about, what, 5 seconds each? Oh wait, this guy isn't at that school. There is no way on earth he's 16. Stone maybe. can't even move back. There were too many people again. I should really start taking Spanish lessons, shouldn't I?
Hello, horse.
Okay, finally, right back at the bollard. That's why I'm reluctant to move once I get a decent position at the front, because you get stuck. Sort of like pushed in and you can't escape. It's like, ah, my God. And then we get a spot and everyone moves. I don't understand it. The second I actually get the spot, no one bothers moving again. It's so odd here. Being able to predict it is mathematically impossible. It's true I haven't seen you for a while. It's got to be 6 or 7 minutes now. It's been ages. Very odd, like the way people are moving around today, no? Nothing is consistent. It's hard to know where to stand. Saturday numbers, people, but just not Saturday, Saturday motion. I think really the focus is going to need to be on the movements of the gatesman. Next one will be in roughly 5 minutes. Oh, where's the horse going? Hold on. Let's not have a horsey meltdown. The horse is focusing on the noise across the street, that relentless noise. I can't understand personally why, given the nature of the daytime business in this area, i.e. government, and the fact that that business pretty much finishes around 5-6 p.m, not entirely but mainly, why the road works when they're done are not done overnight. I can't understand at all why, when it's dead here, this is not a residential area either, why they don't get the road surfacing done in the middle of the night. It would then not impact on the horses, not impact on tourists with road closures, and argue more importantly, it will get done a hell of a lot quicker because they haven't got to suddenly stop the traffic, move all the kit in, and then start actually doing the work. Unless I'm missing something. What would be a reason they wouldn't do it at night, folks? I mean, the typical reason they refrain from roadworks at night is disturbing the public, i.e., people that live there, local residents. That's why, for example, where I live, you never have roadworks happening at night. And that's normal in most of central London where you get people living residentially. But here, that doesn't apply. So I can't think of a single logical reason, unless perhaps it's more expensive. I don't know, maybe they have to pay night rate or something. Curious, isn't it? So it's pretty much turned the street into a huge construction site. Look. And although it may not seem much to us, to the horses obviously it's far more audible. Speaking of which, lots more police horses just about to move. However, sadly we're not going to see them. Why? Because look, they're in this massive police horse trailer. Wonder how many beauties they've got in the back of there. Can't see any heads bobbing up and down. What a mess. Right, this time I'm not going to get shouted at by the police, I promise, okay? In fact, I thought that was the one we saw earlier, but it's not. These are two new ones. This one's far smaller. Still stunning, but much, much smaller. I timed that quite well, didn't I? And as the police are now actually closing the road, I can wander across without getting in trouble. Oh, they're actually saying mind your bags. Mind your bags, and then mind your bags. And through they go. Okay, I'll time that right. Ta-da. Right, find you back in the best spot. She's not with me, guys, even though she's looking directly at the camera. A lot of people, for some reason, they are watching or stopping to watch me film, which is fine with me. It's a public spot, but it just feels a bit strange because they're not behaving naturally. They're not going straight up to the horse. They're sort of stopping. Maybe because there are so many of us here today. That could be it. But then again, as we go, hurtling towards spring, it's going to get very busy here. I remember in peak days last summer, there were 20, 25 people here filming every day. Unavoidable. One person who actually only films here for 3 months a year and spends the other 9 in Mexico. Maybe I should do that, guys. Do you think I should only film for 3 months a year? If I filmed intensively during the summer months, then I could spend the other 9 in Mexico. I'm pretty sure none of you would have missed me. Or my humorless videos. It's 45. That means the guard's about to move. He said, where's the guard? Okay, perhaps he's not going to move. I did that on my time is wrong on the phone. I'm desperately waiting for the dispatch email from Amazon. I ordered an S24 Ultra, folks, because apparently it can shoot 120 frames per second in 4K, unlike this phone, which can do 60 frames per second. However, I'm not sure whether or not there is a 4K 120 native option on YouTube. In other words, there's no point in me shooting something that is technologically superior to what YouTube natively supports. Okay, arguably, my main reason for filming in 4K anyway was to produce an archive, of the clearest footage that's possible. So, arguably, even shooting with resolutions that don't yet have native support might prove wise, because it's only a matter of time. I remember thinking 5 years ago, I wonder if 4K is going to catch on. I mean, boom, we were able to film it on smartphones, for goodness sake. It's extraordinary. But, and this was the thing that I have to say it sold me somewhat, the S24 Ultra, you can have a telephone conversation with somebody in a non-native language, and the conversation is translated by the AI in the phone in real time. Now, I'm kind of thinking that might sound too good to be true. However, who is better placed to test it than yours truly with the tourists? Yeah, it's sometimes that we have this conversation with tourists, but can't quite get to the heart of the matter for linguistic reasons. Point being, it can't hurt to have native real-time translation in my pocket, can it? That's what I'm starting to think. Oh god, here we go. I can't think why everybody in the group that is behind seems to think this is funny. Chap, you speak English?
Yes.
You don't think that's incredibly disrespectful?
Yes.
Following him, like sort of marching, even he's noticed, yeah? You would be incredibly disrespectful. He's a serving member of the British military. Let me tell you something else as well, which is going to make you feel very ashamed. His regiment, armoured regiment, liberated Belsen in April 1945. How about that? Think about the next time you're here, yeah? Treat troopers with the respect they deserve, as I would do if I visited your country.
This is my country. I'm English.
Then how on earth do you not understand about what they're here for and their purpose?
The history. People do this every day.
Stupid people do this every day. There's a big difference.
No, not so big.
Then why is it that people are filming you and looking at you and
They're
trying to
not-
talk to you? Even this guy behind you.
I don't care about that.
You don't care about that. That's because you're obviously not an educated man who doesn't think logically and has
Very normal
respect.
thing to do this.
It's not normal. It's stupid. It is. It's completely infantile and juvenile, and you're disrespecting a serving member of the military. Maybe grow up, no? Moron. I didn't decide to put the camera right in his face, guys, because at the end of the day, I don't want to get into a fight, but not having that. What an absolute complete and utter idiot. Trying to justify it. Oh, I am British, I can. No, you're not. You're a complete and utter dickhead. There, I said it. Had to be done, guys. Sorry, I rarely lose my temper, but that, bang out of order. Not in that there was another guy that was standing there behind him, who was just shaking his head in disbelief, like agreeing with me, just like, you know what, you're being completely stupid. What a clown, eh? Had to put him right. In fact, you know what? He actually deserves to be in today's video. He does deserve to be in today's video. And the reason that he deserves to be in today's video is that despite me trying to explain it in a polite, respectful, calm, and I would say quite engaging manner, he didn't want to listen. So there we are, guys, this big group, the ones that were laughing behind. The clown I was talking to is the one on the left, one who's being disrespectful. But the whole group seemed to think it was funny. I didn't. I mean, I didn't think it was even remotely amusing myself, but there we are. Perhaps I'm missing. Perhaps I'm the idiot. Fundamentally, no? Wow. Just when it was peaceful, quiet, everybody was being kind of normal, chill, respectful. Okay, and a few rain grabbers. Had to be a group that turned up and spoilt the harmonious environment that was here. And without, stating the obvious, because I don't need to, you've all seen it before, always a certain group, every single time without fail. And I don't know, perhaps I'm missing the point, guys, perhaps it's me. I do try to help people by explaining it, but he, I think, didn't even understand what I was talking about in terms of my comment vis-a-vis Belsen. And as if that wasn't enough, the police and are having a word with them. Serves them right, eh? That's what happens when you come here and be a complete and utter disrespectful moron. And I will call that straight away in this video, because that was really beyond the pale. You know, we've seen a lot of disrespect here, but that was utterly extraordinary, really. The irony is that he was actually attempting to, it seemed to my eyes, frog march alongside the trooper. I guess the irony in that is completely lost on that clown. Yep. I should start the camera in his face, actually. But then again, this is not, you know, a name and shame channel. I think I did my part. And there's me thinking that part 2 would be relatively, comparatively peaceful. Should have guessed, eh, folks? I should have guessed. So we had the Spanish school kids, who you can argue are not really, how do we say this, as liable for their actions as the fully grown gent that we just saw. But at least that was dealt very quickly with, dealt extremely effectively by the tour guide. Yeah, massive respect to him. He's a nice guy though. We've seen him before on the camera and spoken to him. He's a really good guy. But the group was so large, he didn't actually realise that the kids near the chits were being a way too cheeky. Wow. I'm interested to see actually where the other people were filming that encounter, filming me trying to educate the gent about why he was being stupid. So you might well spot me in someone else's video either today or tomorrow. Guess we'll find out. Maybe we'd print some leaflets, guys, and hand them out. Like kind of, you know, anti-torn leaflets. At least the police actually had a word when they left. I mean, I see that as being a huge positive. Rightio, we are back at the other end. Oh, wow. How's that, guys? There's the clown. That is the fellow that I spoke to, guys, and explained about this issue of, you know, respect. I think this time, hopefully, he figured it out. If not, I'm happy to educate, 100%. He's much behind me now, saying some crap like yo yo or whatever. Right here, chap, want to talk to me? Come and talk to me. Right, back to normal. You can talk to, I thought you wanted to say something to me. I wasn't there to try and upset you, I was just trying to help you to understand the reason behind the disrespect.
I've been coming here for years, and I even asked the policeman, he said, as long as you don't step, you don't say anything nasty, it's okay. This is people do it all the time, it's okay.
But you must have seen the YouTube videos with people getting shouted at or told not to do this and not to do that and so on.
Take things all the way. Everyone takes it. I wasn't disrespectful, I was just working together with him, he said it's okay.
I can tell you right now, we couldn't do it because on duty, but if I went over with you and we spoke to the trooper, he would tell you very clearly that was bang out of order. I've got no reason to make a controversy here with you.
I understand. It's okay.
You know?
Okay. I'm listening.
But isn't it good though to to actually understand the reasons behind. For example, did you personally know about the history of this regiment and about other armoured regiments? Then I'm guessing.
I went to the school.
I'm guessing,
British.
and not. Okay, so you're British. You're Jewish. Hasidic Jewish.
Yes.
Okay, then you of all people should know the history of this regiment and what these regiments have achieved historically. So for that reason alone, don't these troopers in armoured regiments deserve even more respect than any other military person?
Very respectful. I told him while I was working with him. I told him I really respect your job.
No, but you know that he can't say anything back, for example. Even if he's upset or angry with you walking along next to him, he can't tell you that because while he's at work on duty, he can't express his displeasure. For example, if you were at work, whatever you do, and somebody, I or another member of the public, came up and started marching alongside you when you were at work, how would you feel, honestly?
It's my job. I know what.
But it's not, wait, but hold on, but its job is not to have somebody walk alongside you in a comical way. If somebody did it when you were at work, you wouldn't appreciate it, am I right or not? I wouldn't appreciate it, so I know that you wouldn't appreciate it. You see the point I'm trying to make here?
I understand, but they know what they're in for.
I know, but should they be? Is there any need to exacerbate that by being disrespectful when they're at work? I've got a point, come on, at least admit I've got a point.
I'm listening. I'm just arguing because
Okay.
I'm a devil's advocate.
They play devil's advocate.
God, devil's advocate.
Have a good day anyway, okay? Gosh, we're still hashing out. You know, at the end of the day, if two people fundamentally have a disagreement on what is and isn't acceptable, I'll leave it to you people to decide. You, the viewer, get to choose who was right and who was wrong. You know what I think? I've said it before. But I do at least respect the fact that he was willing to engage with me and speak to me about it, despite my obvious exceeding level of displeasure with what we saw. Could just be a cultural thing at the end of the day, guys. If certain behaviour is normal for some people and not normal to other people. I noticed that now they're trying to engage, they're trying to ask, they're trying to find out what is and isn't permissible, etc. I'm seeing that as a huge positive, because before they didn't want to engage, they weren't speaking to the police or to the troopers. Now they are, and that's a nonsense as well. What he said about the police saying everyone does that, it's fine. Absolute rubbish. There's no way that the officers would have said that, and more importantly, the officers wouldn't have intervened or gone over and had a chat with them unless there was a reason to tell them, you know, be a bit more respectful, be a bit more polite in how you interact with the troopers. Because regardless of the historical aspect and regardless of the fact that this is an armoured regiment, just like that regiment from 1945 at Belsen, it's somebody that's at work. Okay, and that for me is the key thing here. You would not go and do that to your bank manager or somebody in Sainsbury's, would you? And it's all very well to use that, you know, it's kind of traditional to mock or to laugh or whatever, or to try and make a point. I can't, it just doesn't sit right with me, folks, and this is why at the end of the day I kind of have to try my very best to inform. I wouldn't go as far as to say to educate. He was an educated chap. That's how we were able to have a reasonable discussion as opposed to getting into, fisticuffs. But yeah, I shouldn't need to, not with grown people. Anyway, it is what it is. On a more positive note, I did promise all of you a potential surprise in part one. A lot of you would have seen part one from this morning. If you didn't, see it. A lot of rain grabbers, a lot of funny moments. Spanish group being a bit naughty. A very funny moment with a lady who was holding the reins, and even the trooper had to tell her to get off. Trooper in camos as well as the boxman. So it really was, it was a bit of an interesting one. I can tell you that. Part one was quite hectic. Super glad that I stayed for 2 parts though. It kind of made my decision worthwhile. Okay, so interesting enough, the 2 troopers that were here first of all have not or are not about to change boxes. So the 2 first horses are coming back out as far as I'm aware. Yep. Let's just refer back to the list. Okay, so Tippett and Yvonne are the 2 that are coming back out again, and the 2 that are about to leave. Horse right in front of me is Infinity, and the horse at the other end is Talar. So goodbye to you, beautiful Infinity. Bye-bye for now. And Talar. And the Lady Trooper is back, as mentioned before. Okay, changeover's complete.
J'ai gâché toute sa vidéo. J'ai gâché toute sa vidéo. Il est en train de faire un vlog là, il est en train de tout défoncer. Et du coup, ils échangent. Ouais, du coup, c'est juste en fait, ils sont juste en train de faire ça.
Just waiting for it to finish off, that way everyone is going to start moving again.
Je filme ses pieds là quand il fait ses trucs.
Frenchies there. Right.
Bon, allez, je te laisse.
Look who it is, everyone. Look. Who is back from very much well-deserved annual leave? Finally back here at Horseguards. It's been, let me think, 6 or 7 weeks, I think actually. His last time here was the end of November last year. I will in a minute, when the police give the all clear for everybody to move, go and find out. You know, I'm a stickler for detail. Okay, so they're just changing over the chitsman and gatesman inside. I would run in, but I don't want to be accused of stalking that group because that big group is in there that I had the altercation with on the line. Once that relief is finished and the traffic starts to move again, I will go to the other end. Actually, some people are already going through the gate. There's motion. Not a lot of it, but there's some motion. And it's actually because of the fact that the new gatesman just went back into the archway. I didn't think anything was going to happen, and it didn't. All is good. How's your dad? He's all right, yeah? I saw him, let me think, when was it? Saturday, Sunday he was here. Yeah, he seems to be a little bit cheerier than he was before Christmas. Things are getting better. Good to hear, yeah. I can't complain. I mean, a day like this, come on, silly people, sunshine. What more could we need, no? Okay, folks, they've finished it. Yep. Okay, that's it. They finished it. Oh, lots of familiar faces. Oh, there's a familiar face. You all right? Didn't see you for a while.
Cotton Cook Road, you know?
I absolutely have no idea.
Been closed.
It's been closed?
Yeah, I went there this morning. A couple of hours later, come back, still closed.
I have no idea actually. I'm in the dark about whatever even if there was some major incident, I wouldn't even know about it because I'm trying to focus on the video. I didn't even know what was happening over there until I turned around earlier and realised they closed it all. The police shouted at me to get out of the road. I didn't even understand why. But
Log on, find out.
penny drops. See you later, yeah? You too. Gosh, I suddenly got super busy. There's barely any space to move again. Super. Oh, one second, guys. I need to just pause the video. I'll be right back. Folks, apologies for the pause in the video. It is, as you can see from the clock above, 12 minutes past 1. You know that when I speak to officials here, whether they be military officials or Ministry of Defence police officials, that I always either stop recording or, as in today's case, pause the recording. I think I did that in part 1, didn't I, earlier? But obviously it's, let's just say there's been a lot of things changing behind the scenes in the last couple of weeks. There were various discussions at a much higher level than the majority of people on the ground here are even privy to, about the way that this place functions vis-a-vis people that record here, people that stream here, and members of the public. I can't say too much more about that. It's not a negative in any way, but let's just say that you will notice over time certain things will be a little teeny weeny bit different to how you might have noticed them before. But again, not in any negative way at all. What's the best word I'm trying? Let's just say that things here will be a little bit more formal, okay, in terms of the way that officials and public interact, and in part it's due to what's going on in the world, okay? It's not due to anything that's happened here at horseguards, anything that's happened on the ground, or anything that's happened in London. It's just due to the fact that globally right now there is a lot going on, and we did see a couple of times recently there are far more officers, police officers here than there have been at times, and a far more significant visible Met Police presence on the streets in central London. Not every day, but typically at the weekends, and it's not only on protest days either. I guess, at the end of the day, this country has its fingers in a lot of pies overseas, and it's interesting because I was sort of on the fence about mentioning it, but there was an article in the National Press yesterday, and I can't remember, General Sawyer, I can't completely forgot the name. Anyway, the UK's most senior defence official, can't even remember his rank, terrible thing to admit, Lieutenant General Sawyer, Sawyer's, apologies guys, mine's gone blank. He was quoted in newspaper articles in the UK yesterday, and this is verbatim, folks. People in the UK need to prepare themselves for the inevitability of war. Now, how's about that? Okay. And the article was the general saying that British people. Okay, I'm partly reading between the lines. This is not me quoting verbatim, but we know how the media can somewhat sensationalise these headlines and these interviews. But British people should be prepared for the possibility, or arguably even eventuality, of conflict with Russia. I mean, like what? As if there's not enough to worry about in the world, inflation, chance of there being some new COVID variant, and now they throw up, hey, there could be a global conflict, and this is the point I'm getting to, and if there is, British men and women can expect to be called up in service of their country. Now, that's a controversial thing to discuss, because I'm thinking to myself, how would the British public respond if, for example, we were told, we need to go and fight for Ukraine. Okay. I can ask the same thing to you folks watching in other English-speaking countries around the world. Why? Because if it did happen, it would be Canada, the US, Australia, New Zealand, etc., and other Commonwealth countries and territories that would be expected to send troops, as well as other NATO countries. But I cannot, it's a generational thing clearly, I cannot personally envisage a scenario whereby, even if there were a call to arms, you would have, tens of thousands of British people and people in the US rushing to sign up to defend Ukraine against Russian aggression. I can't see it. I cannot see it. Okay? Yes, people have volunteered. Yes, they've gone to Ukraine. Yes, they've fought. But a voluntary? Nah. Voluntary call up? No. Let me explain why. The sort of idealism of the 20th century, I don't really think exists anymore. We had very clear notions of left and right. They're a little bit blurred now in many respects. I think a lot of you in the US, though, Biden, Trump, would disagree with me, but certainly here, almost every politician is in the middle in most respects. I cannot honestly see a situation where British people would agree voluntarily to sign up, And it was interesting because one of the articles, a journalist was saying, this is completely ridiculous. If it comes to it, he was writing, I cannot see that anyone in the US would be willing to sacrifice potentially Boston, I think was the quote, for Poznan, which is a town in Poland. In other words, I wouldn't believe anyone would ever sacrifice Boston for Poznan. In other words, if there were, a threat of some sort of global war because, a Polish town were attacked, would Americans, British and other nations rush to the aid of Poland? I mean, under the NATO Charter, strictly speaking, there is an obligation, but that point I'm making about the voluntary aspect, can't see it. Yeah, I just can't see it. I don't know, maybe we've become a little bit too complacent. Okay, our generation in many respects has had nowhere near the level of suffering of previous generations, not least the generation born in the early 20th century. Wow. Yeah, it did make me think a little bit. Would I sign up to fight for Ukraine? Me personally? No chance. Okay? The way that I look at it is very simple. If there were a threat to myself, my family, my friends, my colleagues, my nation, that's one thing, okay? That's defense. Then yes, absolutely. Okay? I'd run down there enthusiastically and sign up. But I just don't see this threat that the media are trying to convince us all exists. I just don't see it. There's this narrative that, hey, if Ukraine should lose, next step will be Poland, then the Baltic states, then God knows, Germany. In other words, where will it end? I don't see it. Okay, I don't. I really don't. So I'm not sure why this narrative. I wouldn't quite go as far as calling it a false narrative. I would certainly say it's a misleading narrative. It's being fed to all of us. But I personally, I don't see it. Yeah, I really don't. So apologies if some of you are upset. Like, what does he mean he wouldn't go and defend Ukraine? I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. And a lot of people use the example of, you know, the Munich Agreement and what happened for the Second World War, but I don't think the two situations can be juxtaposed at all. I really don't. So there we are. Controversial, but that's my opinion. Let's hope, folks, in the last 10 minutes of the video, everybody stays well behaved, because it's been a bit of a head spinner this morning in many ways. This was the most Saturday-esque Wednesday that I think has ever happened here at Horseguards. And you know things are changing when I need to pause the video to speak with the officers. Oh no, I can't. I'm still in the middle of the video, so I can't really talk about it now. But it's nothing serious, nothing for any of us to worry about. Let's just say that, you know, for example, the global situation now is a little bit more dangerous than it was last year. Security levels are much higher than they were last year. So I had to say a lot of things here are subtly changing because of potential. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I need to be careful in my video, but you kind of, you know what I mean, especially in the Middle East and everything else. So. Oh yeah, nothing's going to change with the situation here. It's more about a matter of how everyone that side of the fence and the police interact with the public. They're going to be a lot more. I understand that, but no, there's nothing for any of us to worry about. It's all good, 100%. If anything, they're delighted that everybody here seems to get on pretty well. We are a tight group, aren't we? All of us here. Everyone, except those two idiot clowns that are not here. Everyone talks to each other in a respectful way. I think they recognise that, and I haven't heard anything negative at all. But a lot of funny things happened this morning, like, especially at that end. Massive lot of Chinese tourists to start with. I was filming it with Mike when he got here. He was just like, I can't understand it, you know. Yeah, pretty much consistently. It's really hard to know where the action's gonna come. This end, I just know it'll be the end that I'm not at. I need to finish this video shortly anyway. Are you here on Saturday this week?
Am I going to be here this Saturday?
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
So, a lot of people, in fact, I mean, as far as I know, what was it? Brandon said something earlier about. He said something. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't Brandon. It was another guy. Barry said something about something with the king this Saturday, vis-a-vis horseguards. But I didn't have time to talk about it because I was still in the video. What is it? What's happening? I don't know. I haven't even looked at the royal schedule in 8 days.
Apparently, King's going to do some ceremony.
Ah. I'll make sure I know about that beforehand.
Yeah,
Wait, is this Saturday the 28th? It isn't.
let me just check. I think it was.
In fact, Brandon didn't even know what day it was earlier, and then I started wondering which day of the week it was.
It's Sunday.
It's this Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So we'll have to Google it.
Looks like it's going to be a two-parter this weekend then. Oh, let's hope the horse doesn't relieve her of her lovely bag, folks. Liking that hat as well. The hat looks like horse food. Oh. Oh, bless. She was super shy. Oh, she's like, this is my horse. Trooper's looking. Oh, let's see. Troopers keep a real close eye on these naughty tourists. Okay. Don't touch the reins. So it's very hands-on. It's interesting actually because a couple of people that filmed here, including somebody that I was with this morning, are Chinese. And I like that because often we're filming and straight away they will say to me, look, you know, there's a group coming through, because they know what's going to happen because they've seen it many times, and even they can't understand why it is that there are certain groups that will grab the reins more than others. And if they don't know why their fellow countrymen and women typically grab the reins a little bit more than other nationalities, shall we say, then I can't begin to speculate. It is what it is. You know, cultural differences are a wonderful thing, even if it means sometimes people get shouted at. Bingo. Our closing shots, guys, will be back at this end. I feel that I somewhat neglected this horse. However, thinking back, part one, I was at this end far more than at the other end. But it's interesting that they haven't swapped over the boxes, the troopers. This trooper, who was out just over an hour ago, was at the other end, and was at this end. And the same with the lady trooper. Normally they swap. They will swap over boxes. Thanks for the head.
Hostia, pone no tocar y la tía. Yo no
One
entiendo.
thing I can tell you though, actually, guys, sorry, I should have mentioned that immediately after I'd resumed the video. The story, the narrative that I was fed by the guy that I had the discussion with, the disagreement with, because of the way that he marched with the trooper. You will recall. 1 second, let's wait for the ambulance. You will recall, he said, I spoke to the police, they didn't have a problem with it. Lies. I confirmed that with the officer that came back out on duty. He said, we saw it, and we were debating whether or not to throw them out. So there we have it, okay? So he was trying to convince me, I think, overall, that, hey, I wasn't disrespectful, and my group didn't do anything wrong. Nonsense. They were disrespectful, they were out of order, and the police approached and spoke to them. But I didn't actually know that they were debating throwing them out. So I feel somewhat redeemed after that. That's good. Let's hope the last person in the video, whoever it might be, ends up being a happy, smiley one, doesn't do anything wrong. There we are. After all the chaos and everything that happened today, a wholesome moment. calm has redescended upon us, folks. And I, for one, am quite glad about that. Final group shot. Horses not cooperating though, sadly, see, with attempts to get some nice pictures. There we have it. A happy ending, guys, and let's be honest, we all have a happy ending. I certainly do. So from Horse Guards today, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoyed today's videos. Part 1 has also already been published, guys. This is part 2. I will be back as ever very soon. Bye for now.